Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this morning's update on Tropical Depression 10. So this update is exclusively going to focus on Tropical Depression 10. I'll be doing a separate update on Hurricane Franklin this evening. So as of 7 a.m. Central Daylight Time, Sunday, August the 27th, Tropical Depression 10 has maximum sustained winds of 35 miles per hour, a minimum central pressure of 1,001 millibars, and southeasterly movement at 5 miles per hour. So looking at the latest Zoom Earth satellite imagery and cone for Tropical Depression 10, Depression 10 has a maximum sustained winds of 35 miles per hour as of 8:40 a.m. Central American Time, August the 27th, and is producing some heavy rain across the Cayman Islands, southwest Cuba, and the eastern Yucatan. Looking at the latest forecast cone, by this afternoon, we're expecting a 45-mile-per-hour tropical storm, and then by tomorrow morning, 1 a.m. Central Time, a 50-mile-per-hour tropical storm curving to the north. By tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m. Central Time, a 60-mile-per-hour tropical storm moving to the north. By Tuesday, 1 a.m. Central Time, a 70-mile-per-hour tropical storm moving to the north across the southeastern Gulf of Mexico, and we're expecting a hurricane by Tuesday afternoon as an 85-mile-per-hour Category 1 hurricane west of southern Florida. By Wednesday, 1 a.m. Central Time, a 90-mile-per-hour Category 1 hurricane approaching the Big Bend area of Florida, and we're looking at a landfall sometime Wednesday morning to early afternoon, about 50 to 100 miles southeast of Tallahassee, Florida. Expected to move through southeastern Georgia into South Carolina. By Thursday, 1 a.m., 50-mile-per-hour tropical storm north of Savannah and west of Charleston, and then passing very close to Wilmington and going into Friday, 1 a.m. Central Time, 40-mile-per-hour tropical storm skirting the Outer Banks of North Carolina. So looking at the latest official hurricane cone from the National Hurricane Center, tropical storm through Tuesday, hurricane through Wednesday morning, tropical storm through Friday morning, moving through Florida and the southeast. We have tropical storm warnings in the northeastern Yucatan Peninsula, including Cancun, western Cuba, and a tropical storm watch in the island south of Cuba. So looking at the intensity model guidance for Tropical Depression 10, Tropical Depression 10 is expected to become a strong tropical storm or a weak hurricane by most model guidance, anywhere between a 65 and 90 mile per hour storm between the next 48 and 84 hours. So make sure that you are preparing if you live across the Big Bend area of Florida for a potential hurricane, a likely hurricane. And then looking at the spaghetti model guidance for the tracks, all of these spaghetti models are curving Tropical Depression 10 to the northeast, clipping western Cuba, but most staying west of Cuba over the next 36 hours, and then a likely landfall in the Big Bend of Florida. Some guidance has it going over Tampa, but most guidance has it going northwest of Tampa in the next 72 hours. In the next 96 hours, many of the models have potential Hurricane Idalia re-emerging over the Atlantic just off the Carolina coast and moving offshore through the next 120 hours. So if you live across the Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas, really be paying close attention to future Hurricane Idalia. Now, looking at these rainfall accumulations, regardless of the strength, there's going to be flooding issues from a future Idalia. So, first looking at Cuba, eastern Yucatan, anywhere from about 2 to 4 inches of rain is expected in the GFS model. And then, as we look across the Florida panhandle around Tallahassee through Panama City Beach, we can expect anywhere from 5 to 9 inches of rain in a narrow corridor cutting through central Georgia into the Carolinas. So major flooding is going to be a concern from Idalia across the southeast, regardless of intensity. Looking at the European model for projected rainfall accumulations. Once again, we're looking at about 2 to 5 inches in areas of Cuba, the Cayman Islands, and the eastern Yucatan, and across the southeast, widespread 2 to 6 inches with pockets up to 12 inches possible along the path of future Idalia. So make sure you're taking this flooding threat very seriously across the southeast. And looking at the Canadian model is the most aggressive, bringing widespread 3 to 6 inches across the Cayman Islands, western Cuba, the Yucatan Peninsula, and then wherever Idalia moves on shore, widespread swath of 5 to 9 inches with pockets of 12 inches across Georgia, the Carolinas, even Virginia, getting in on the mix in the Canadian model, as well as the Florida Panhandle. So I'm really going to monitor Tropical Depression 10, which is going to become Idalia over the next several days, as Idalia is going to pose a major threat to the Southeast and Florida. Thanks for watching. Please stay safe and have a wonderful day, my friends.